subscription now covers up to 14 devices at once. That's enough to protect your entire household. Best of all, it comes with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. So take your online privacy seriously with ExpressVPN. Right now, get 4 extra months by going to expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. expressvpn.com/Kim.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Cenla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL. It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning and welcome to Talkback for Tuesday, the 7th day of July, 7/7/26. It's a good day to be an American, but it's not a good day if you're an American fan of the World Cup, because there was a little bit of a crash and burn yesterday over in Seattle, where the American team lost in a little bit of a humiliating 4-1 loss against Belgium. A lot of drama took place around all of that as the nation, or even the world, was focused on the FIFA decision to suspend a red card ban against the striker for the U.S. World Cup team. They overturned it after a phone call from President Trump requesting them to take a look at it to review the call. And it seemed like that decision to overturn the red card fueled the Belgian team because they felt like it was unjust. And, man, they came out firing on all cylinders. U.S. seemed a little flat yesterday, and they just couldn't get back into the rhythm that had brought them to this level of 16, one of the furthest America's team have been. I think once before they went to the semifinals a few years ago, but nevertheless, a good showing to get this far, but also an understanding that World Cup soccer is serious business, and you got to be on the top of your game all the way. America seemed to be a little bit off about maybe just like a step behind on a few things, a little disorganized. A couple of the goals that Belgium made were really mistakes made by Americans that allowed the American team that allowed that. Nevertheless, proud of America to go as far as they did. I'm a little sad that some of my teams, I'm pulling for several nations, to be honest with you. And when they face off against each other, then I'll have to make the decision. But obviously the U.S. team was pulling for them. I was pulling for Mexico, who lost, difficult loss, 2-1 down in Mexico City. I was pulling for, I was happy to see Norway win. That was an exciting victory, unexpected. But, they've got the guy named Holland, who's like a beast of a player. It's just so fun to watch. We've got a great couple of games left today before we get to the semifinals. I think at 2 o'clock this afternoon, there will be a contest between Argentina and Egypt. And then that's at 11 o'clock this morning. Then at 3 o'clock this afternoon, Colombia versus Switzerland. Today is the final opportunity for the Americas, plural, to be represented in the World Cup. If both Argentina and Colombia lose today, there will be no American teams left. When I say American, I mean North American, Central American, or South American teams left in the World Cup. And neither will there be any host nations, because all 3 host nations lost 3 days in a row. So there you go. That's your sports update. And the part that Stephen loves so much. Me and the other 11 people who watch soccer in America, according to Stephen, all disappointed yesterday. But I'm still pulling for Colombia this afternoon. I'm all team yellow, blue, and red this afternoon. A lot of folks in America and other American teams really are not Argentina fans because Lionel Messi is kind of messy, they say. But I'm pulling for both of the American teams, Argentina and Colombia, this afternoon, and that'll wrap it up. No more sports talk from me. We'll save the rest of that for Al the rest of the week. Good morning, Stephen. How are you, sir?
No, please keep talking this unless I have to talk. Talk about it all you want.
Well, I have watched more football in the last month than I probably have in the last 10 years combined. And I've really loved every moment. I've fallen in love with the beautiful game, is what they call it. And I see the ballet of it. I see the drama of it. I understand, we Americans, and I've been this way, like about baseball. I'm like, that's so boring. Pitch, ball, pitch, swing and miss, pitch, ball, pitch. I mean, it's like, when's the action? And I get it that people would say soccer is similar. It's just they're just kicking the ball around. But every play has such potential to erupt. And you see the formations, you see the strategies, you see why they kick the ball back to the goalie. You see how they're forming on the wings. You see how important the corner kicks are, where many of the points are scored. There's always the debate over whether it was a true yellow card or red card foul. There's lots of drama that takes place. Interestingly, in soccer, you only allowed 5 substitutions per game. And so you've got to be really strategic, even though you may have 20, 25 players on your team. Coaches have to be super strategic. The player that had been kicked out for then red carded and not allowed to play supposedly in the Belgium game yesterday, then the suspension took place and he was allowed to play, really had no impact on the game whatsoever. And then the other leading player for America got injured in the second half and went out. So just a little kind of a limping their way towards the end there. Seattle group was great, huge American presence there, but just not enough to pull things off. So I said that was enough. You told me to keep talking about it, so I did. But I really got to stop talking about it.
Go ahead.
Hey, we got a great show for you today. Got some great guests. We're going to have a special call-in at 7:30. Pineville Mayor Joe Bishop going to give us a call to talk about the new speed limits on the Pineville Expressway. The signs are going up today. And if you're reading the online commentary, you're seeing that some people are saying, well, they were already doing 60, 65, and a 50. Now they'll be doing 70, 75, and a 60. And I have a feeling Mayor Bishop will have some comments about that. And at the same time, I also believe that, and I don't want to speak for him, we'll ask him when he gets home, but I think he was in favor of this because there is an expectation when you're on a 4-lane highway that, you can go a little bit faster than you can on a 2-lane. And so a lot of 2 lanes in Louisiana are 55 miles an hour. This is a 4-lane with what they call that when we have on ramps and off ramps. There's a term for that. I can't think of what that term is. Where's like guarded approaches, or it's a safer highway, and yet you can only do 50. So I do know in the past the police chief, former police chief Darrell Basco, and chiefs before him told me that when they do enforce the speed on the expressway, the speed limits, that the accidents go down. But also everybody knows that 55, 60 is standard practice on the expressway. And the Pineville police have really kind of tacitly allowed that, except for times of high accidents. So we'll see. We're excited to have Mayor Bishop call in and share some thoughts about that. Also, we'll have Wilbert Carmouche from Avoyelles Parish coming in the studio this morning around 7:40, 7:45. We'll talk with him about all things Avoyelles. And then the thing that we enjoy so much, the twice-a-month visit from Matt Ritche will bring us the Central Louisiana Economic Update. I know Matt is not necessarily, I don't know if he's a soccer fan or not. I know he's a tennis fan. We'll see. I think they may have a tennis event coming up this fall. So we'll talk about all things Cenla. And Stephen, I have really good news in my family. We sold our house yesterday.
Good.
Finally closed on it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a long time
You're
coming.
rich now.
Yeah. It's funny how little money you think when you realize by the time you pay off all the people you got to pay off, it's not as much left. But nevertheless, that's one burden off, and we're happy to have that done.
One less mortgage payment.
Absolutely. And we had prayed that God would bring the right family, and God did. Just the family fell in love with the house. They have 4 children. It's a big house, 4-bedroom house plus a bonus apartment. And so the family just fell absolutely in love with it, just what they needed and wanted. And we're happy to give them the keys to that yesterday. I had a surprise phone call, though, late in the afternoon. My phone rings, and it's a personal banker at a local bank that I deal with. And I answer. She said, "Hey, Mr. Martin, congratulations on selling your house." Oh, thank you very much. There was a problem at the closing today, and there was an overpayment. And my thought was, oh, no, they paid me too much, and I got to pay them. I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean? Well, when we sent the payoff information to the attorney, somehow the staff interposed 2 numbers, and and I'm expecting her to tell me that, okay, how much do I have to give back? So I actually asked that. I said, so how much, what are we talking about? Well, it's about $700. I'm like, so do I write a check? No. We owe you $700. I'm like,
Okay.
oh, this is a
Nice.
whole lot better phone call than I thought it was at the beginning. She said, oh, yes, sir. This is a fun call for me to tell you, we're sorry for the mistake, but you got some more money coming. So
Must be a nice thing.
yeah, I didn't tell my wife till much later. It's like I thought about it.
Just go buy you something nice.
Yeah, no. Well, it's a good thing to sell a house and get that accomplishment, and to see this young family, the first-time home buyers, they're super excited. And that's the joy of it. So yeah, and you continue in the housing market. I don't know what the interest rate was because when you do
me.
Yeah, I know you're in the market. You're kind of beginning
I'm
to look.
halfway. No,
You're waiting for that lease to expire, right?
Yeah, we'll see. My buddy told me the other day he bought a house new about 13 years ago, and he says like the past 2 years he's put in like $60,000 just to make sure it runs properly. It's a nice house too. So yeah.
Well, there are benefits to renting. When the sink disposal clogs up, you just call the landlord. Say, hey, got a problem. Need you to fix it. As in my case, yesterday I had to call a plumber. They said, we can't be there till Wednesday. So I get to deal with a garbage disposal acting up that won't be addressed until tomorrow, but that's okay. We'll work around it.
That's the way it goes. The way it goes.
It is. So out and about in the community, you brought a couple of updates. You haven't done a story yet on the ICE detention center.
I posted it. I just haven't done one yet. So
You said it was coming.
But we've been knowing about this for a while.
I was a little taken back by when KLB did their story. They only had comments in opposition to it on the piece that I saw on the reel that they posted. When I read the story on their page, then there was at least one person that was in favor of proper handling of immigration, but it really seemed almost one-sided in the news coverage of it. So we'll see how folks react as it comes to fruition. The England Airport wants to make money and they want to keep their base going. So when a business comes to them or entity comes with them willing to pay $500,000 rent, I'm sure they're open to the idea. So my understanding is like $530,000 a year rent for the facility and the use of the tarmac. And then plus ICE will be completely renovating the barracks there. So they'll have their own property being improved. So we'll see how that plays out. There is a local group that goes out and protests from time to time. Funny, one of my friends just texted me, said, almost one-sided. Yeah, you're right. It was more than almost one-sided.
Well, I mean, those are called man on the street interviews. We call them MOSs. So every reporter hates it when the boss is like, hey, we got this story. It's controversial. Go get some MOSs. So you have to go out to a random place and just randomly go up to people and ask them their thoughts on something they probably don't even know anything about. I mean, let's be honest.
You saw a couple people there really didn't.
There's many times where I've had to go up to people and they're like, well, what story are you talking about? And I'm like, well, here's the story. What do you think about that? Well, I don't know. And I'll be like, well, here's more. Can you just give me your opinion so I can move on with my life? Kind of thing, So that's usually how it ends up.
Well, let me ask you this. In their piece, they had a guy who agreed to talk with his face being blurred because he feared retaliation. Is that a common thing for an MOS?
I mean, it could happen, and if you need to use it, you got to use it. So, I mean, whatever.
you're scraping the...
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And a lot of the times the people that... never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Well, let's go to the phone line real quick. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Stephen and Nathan.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. Part of the problem, I think, is the way they bill it, because according to Holman, this is a facility that will enable it to keep families together. Right. That's one of the big cries of the Democrats. Oh, you're separating families, which, if I stole something, I would be separated from my family. When you commit a crime, that's what happens. But this is an act of mercy. We're putting out extra expense to facilitate a more comfortable transition back to their home countries. And I'm glad we're doing it in our area. We're going to get the financial benefit of that. And I think that's something, they're not going to pollute the water. They're not going to, I think this is a win-win for everybody. Now, whatever facilities they build, I don't know what's going to happen after this problem is solved. But if they would have said, hey, the federal government is building a massive facility here to help keep families together through the deportation process, what do you think of that? Then I think they would get it's all in how they ask the question. I understand it was the man but you can shape the questions. You can use your questions to build a narrative that isn't really journalism. And that's why I'm so discouraged with KSYL. I still record it every night just to see, get a thumbnail of what's happening. But, people like Steven with his activities and Urban Cast, that's where the real news is. It's not on KSYL. But
interesting.
Anyway, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, a commenter mentions to me that WBRZ television in Baton Rouge did 3 successive 5-minute pieces on the AEX ICE operations 3 nights in a row on their 6 o'clock news. I don't know how long ago that was. This is a listener.
It was like last week.
Was it last week?
Yeah.
So, and as you said, Stephen, it's not new news. It's been out there and been discussed. I think it was voted on back in March at the England Authority meeting. So again,
they've already had protesters out there over that.
Yeah.
And WBRZ, their story kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit too. They just came out there like, we investigated this unknown airport in the middle of nowhere where the biggest operations are happening. Is like, you didn't investigate that. That was on like the New York Times a year ago, and we've known it for years.
Yeah.
Like, we've known this.
Yeah.
So they had an agenda in mind before they did the story, and the reporter was going to stick to it no matter what. That's kind of where you're at on that one.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, thanks for your call. We've got to take the break. When we come back, Mayor Joe Bishop of Pineville will join us on the phone and talk about the new speed limits on the Pineville Expressway. Back on with more on Talkback.
KSYL.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Microsoft's Xbox plans to eliminate 3,200 jobs over the next year in a massive reorganization of the struggling gaming division. The goal is to streamline the business and invest in bigger projects. Despite making big investments, including the $69 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard in 2023, Xbox has struggled to release hit games and has seen hardware sales decline. Checking on the markets this morning, Wall Street is focused on blowout earnings from Samsung. Quarterly profit at the world's largest memory chip maker surged 19-fold on booming artificial intelligence demand. However, some investors were expecting even more. That's sending S&P futures lower in trading. And Toyota is moving production of its popular Tacoma mid-sized truck from a plant in Mexico to Texas. The car maker will invest $3.6 billion to expand the facility in San Antonio and add 2,000 new jobs by 2030. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Watch out. The summer slump is trying to take root. Luckily, you can plant a seed, read, with Rapides Parish Library's summer reading program for all ages. Read what you love, log your minutes, and win cool prizes, books, fun, and freebies. That's how we grow at RPL. From kids to grown-ups, every book helps your mind bloom this summer. Visit rpl.org to find summer fun near you and start growing at your library today.
Well, our skies partly cloudy on this Tuesday, but we do have the possibility of some showers or thunderstorms really up until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then only a chance of some isolated showers after that. We'll see the afternoon high temps near 92 degrees. Now tonight, 30% chance of showers early in the evening, down to 75. Then for Wednesday, a slight chance of some showers, afternoon highs near 94. From the Sedlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Talkback. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
Welcome back to Talkback, and as promised, we have on the line with us this morning Mayor Joe Bishop of Pineville. Good morning, Mayor. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing well. As always, you've talked about an open door policy, and call us if you need anything. And here you are this morning responding to my request to call in. people are, I think, somewhat excited about the new speed limit going into effect on the Pineville Expressway. You've known about this for some time. Tell us your thoughts about it.
Yeah, correct, Nathan. DOTD came and met with the city of Pineville several months ago to let us know that they'd done a traffic study flow there on the Pineville Expressway. And, they're going to increase the speed limit from 50 to 60 miles an hour. And I can understand that, because if you're coming from Alexander, coming off the interstate, you come across the Purple Heart Bridge and you bottleneck down to 50 miles an hour, or vice versa. If you're coming from the Tioga area, you're traveling 65, and as soon as you get to the overpass there at Donahue Ferry Road, it goes back down to 250. So, we don't want to be known as a speed trap in Pineville. So I do concur with them raising it to 60, but please, stay off your cell phones. The speed limit is going to be 60. It's not 70. Mm-hmm. So just be, it's common sense, and stay in the. If you're going to drive slower, stay in the right-hand lane. Don't hold up the traffic in the fast lane.
I think that's the comment I've seen much of, and you probably have too, because you're pretty active on social media, is people saying they were already doing 60 and 70 when it was 50. Now they'll be doing 70 and 80 when it's 60. I don't know that that's a justified comment necessarily, but does the police department have any plans of kind of making sure people see their presence and knowing that 60 is the limit?
Most definitely. The speed limit is 60. We do forgive a little bit, but we're not going to be allowing people to drive 70 miles an hour down the Pineville Expressway.
Well, I can remember through the years, Chief Basco and chiefs before him have told me that when they do have increased presence on the expressway, we have reduced accidents. It's just a correlation that seems to happen. And so I know our police department is very safety conscious minded. You mentioned not wanting Pineville to be known as a speed trap. I don't think Pineville has that reputation. And having been sat with you through budget meetings, the citations are such a minuscule amount of the total budget. It's not anything that the city counts on. It's really seems to me to be truly safety driven.
It is. It's all about safety. Our presence is out there. It's not a money maker for the city of Pineville, and we just want to keep our roads and streets safe here in Pineville, and just want the citizens and also to the people coming through Pineville to obey the laws.
Very good. Well, Mayor Bishop, thank you for taking the time to call in this morning. We know we'll have you on next Tuesday for your regular slot. We won't jump into any of the stuff you'll cover then, because I know you've got some great news happening in Pineville. But thank you for taking the time this morning to call us and update us on that increased speed limit on the expressway.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Very good. Pineville Mayor Joe Bishop, always responsive. Appreciate him taking the time to call us this morning. And, if there were man on the street interviews about that, Stephen, I think most folks would be happy to see it, because 50 does seem slow. It really does on a 4-lane I wish I could remember that phrase that talks about, limited, I think it's limited access, because you can't turn right onto it. There's no stop signs. It's truly an interstate level road. Maybe the on ramps and off ramps a little shorter than traditional interstates, but still it is a limited access thoroughfare. So I think it's going to be a good thing, as long as folks will just take it for what it is and not view it as the Pineville Speedway.
It was funny whenever they announced that. That was one of the first stories I did last year when they announced that they were going to do it. So It's been about a year, and glad it's coming through. It's
been something that's been talked about. Nobody accuses, any type of government moving too fast. And sometimes there are reasons for that. There's notification periods. There's opportunities to give input from local stakeholders. So
wait, you're not. You're a little less busy now.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get you to do some Pineville MOSs for us. I'm going to assign you some MOSs today.
All right. I got my assignment.
I'm trying to think of where we would go in Pineville.
For the man on the street stuff?
Probably Max. We would go to Max and just harass people in the parking lot.
That'd be interesting. It'd be fun to get to. I shop at Max quite a bit. I shop at Super One as well. My wife goes to Walmart. That's where she prefers shopping, because she just knows where everything is. But Walmart's moving everything around in Pineville. They're expanding. They're adding 20,000 square feet. Rumor has it there'll be a Dunkin' Donuts in there. I don't know if that's true or not.
So the big one?
In Pineville, the super Walmart. But right now
I think
you
it's
go
legit.
in, you can't find them. I have a hard time finding things when I'm in there now because things have been moved around so much. But it will be good.
Well, they do that on purpose.
So you'll spend more time?
Apparently.
Well, and I'm a big avid user of their in-store map. But the in-store map tells you, sorry, we're under construction. The map is not accurate. So you have to ask a lot. Where is this? And thankfully, the good folks there help us out. But I enjoy Max. I bought all the water we gave away at the Pineville Fireworks Over Bulow event. We bought there at Max. And good people.
One of my least favorite things is shopping. Hate it.
That's why you got married, right? So you wouldn't have to.
She hates it too, so we're screwed.
Well, at least your budget's probably not off the chart.
Oh, it is. We somehow still managed to do that. So.
Oh.
Yeah, we love buying. We just hate shopping. Does that make sense?
Is it why Amazon's your friend?
Exactly. Amazon and
have you joined
DoorDash.
Walmart Plus?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I haven't joined that, so I have the Amazon, but Prime.
We have DoorDash, Walmart Plus, Prime.
So Walmart Plus has a few extra features too. Don't they have a subscription to something? One of the streaming services comes with it.
Is it Paramount?
I'm thinking it's one of those. Paramount, Peacock, one of those. Seems like that they offer that for free as an added bonus to get you to use it.
We just don't watch a whole lot of TV.
Yeah. You use the free delivery though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We do. So if I do go shopping in person, it's mostly Dollar General. We have a nice one across from our apartment.
I was going to ask you, somebody made a post about the nicest Dollar General in town. Was it that one?
I don't know.
Okay. It was like they had a picture of the shelves and everything was orderly.
The one off 165 on Lake Charles Highway is fantastic.
Okay.
They do a good job. I love it.
That's not the universal experience at Dollar General's, but it's a great place when you're in a bind for something.
It's hit and miss. Hit and miss.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what's not hit and miss is Wilbert Carmouche from Travel of Oils. He's going to be in with us after the break, talking to us about all things of oils right after this on Talkback.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at KSYL Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. Now back to Talkback.
Welcome back to Talkback, where the man with the red, white, and blue shirt is in the studio. Wilbert Carmouche is celebrating Independence Day all year long, I think.
It's Happy Birthday, America. Why not?
We should do that, right? It's not just a one-day event. It's a
It was not
year
a
long.
one-day event. It's like, most people celebrate a birthday month, all month, so we have a whole year.
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, good things are always happening in Avoyelles. Did y'all have a good 4th celebration or Independence Day celebration?
Yes, it was a work day for me, but all went well. We had the Avoyelles Arts and Music Festival, which is a great success this year. Again, a lot of entertainment, food. Avoyelles Parish is going to come with great food.
You'll have Paul Wall.
And we had Paul Wall.
How about that?
How about that?
I went as Paul Wall for my sock hop in like the 6th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a big deal back then. Yeah, I like the fake tinfoil grill and everything.
So is he originally a local person or
No, he was, I don't know where he's from, but he was like super famous rapper in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. Yeah.
I mean, I was not familiar, but great guy. Put on a great show.
His was rob the store,
drew a great crowd.
Rob the jewelry store and make me a grill. That was his thing.
That was his thing. Huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I tell you, I have no clue what you're talking about.
He was a famous rapper back in the day.
Did he perform at
Yes, he was the headliner for the Evolves Arts and Music Festival. So
We got to get you right in that mic. It's not direct and picking you up very good.
How about this?
Yeah, hopefully.
And not with her, but of course I can't see my papers, but it's all right. Yeah. So and with everything that's been going on in Evolves, I think people needed this as a pickup, as maybe a diversion, a distraction, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. I mean, it's been tough. How's everything your way with the flooding and the repairs?
In my area, no flooding. So
what is your area?
I'm Fifth Ward.
Okay.
I'm Fifth Ward, north of Marksville. So it allowed us to be able to help those that were affected. So I guess that was God's plan.
What's the hardest hit area still? Plocheville and all those places?
Plocheville. I think DuPont is the latest to be able to come back.
Okay.
As much. Our office right now is being used as a hub for the services. So they're able to come in and talk to the FEMA representatives, to Medicaid, to just Samaritan's Purse, and several other agencies that are in there right now. It's like sort of a one-stop shop that you can come by and you can go from table to table with the different services and register for what your needs are.
You never seen anything like this, huh? In Evolve?
No, not at all. No. And Stephen, it's so ironic. We were planning, and we still are planning, next year. We're in the planning stages of commemorating the flood of 1927.
Wow.
In some of those same areas that are affected today.
Wow.
So it's, like right now, it's like all of a sudden it's a whole new ball game, because then we're going to try to mesh 2026 with 1927, 99 years apart. It happened in two different ways. One was a levee breach. This one was just a rain event. So it was just how are we going to mesh all of this together, and to keep the history going, because they're both historic events. So
Wilbert, we have a phone call coming in, maybe about Evolves. If you can put on your headphones, we're going to try to bring this phone call in. Oh, and they just dropped off, so I guess you can take the headphones back off. Maybe they realized that phone call needed to be about Evolves, and it wasn't. So if you have a call about Evolves, 318-442-8255. That's the BOM talk line. Wilbert Carmouche is our guest from the Evolves Commission of Tourism, and we were talking about the floods. Those happened. I was actually out of the country. I was in South America, and the images were just heartbreaking. And you feel so helpless when you're so far away. You just can't do anything. But I was so proud of the response, and I'm sure you were too.
Absolutely, and I've been talking about that. I always talk about the great people of Evolves Parish, because they're one of our biggest attractions. Stephen has met many of our people. You have too as well. And I talk about them all the time. But again, they have stepped up when it was needed. They did not wait for anything. They knew with these people that were flooded, they needed supplies, they needed food, they needed water, and stepped up immediately.
And you never see anybody saying, who's going to reimburse me my gas money, or help repair my boat prop that got damaged. You don't ever see that. You see people just willing.
You never saw that. You saw people coming together, different faiths working together, different ethnicities, political views. Everybody was working, I think, as God intended. Mm-hmm. Just to help people, and that's what we were doing.
Wow.
I was handing out plates one day, and never did anyone, but then this is Evolves Parish too, I was reminded, they know what was going to be in that plate was going to be good, but never did anyone say, what's in the plate today,
right.
or I don't eat this, that was never, just so appreciative. And I just kept saying, how many do you need? And and with Evolves Parish Lawn Yacht, they'd always get an extra. If they'd ask me for 5 and I had a bag of 3 and 3, but they would get all 6. So just because maybe there was a heavy hitter in the bunch that needed an extra plate.
That's awesome.
But things do continue. We
That's
just
good.
come off of a great Avoyelles Arts and Music Festival. Shout out to the Arts Council of Avoyelles and Paragon Casino Resort and many other partners that made this happen. It was a wonderful event that brought a lot of people to the parish on Saturday. And of course, Sunday as well, as they were preparing to leave. But it was very good for the parish. I don't want to say a distraction, but it was just something maybe that they needed, because a lot of people are staying at Paragon. There's 100 rooms that are occupied by displaced people, as well as 50 FEMA trailers in the RV park. So that was, maybe a little, as I said, a little diversion for them, at least for a few hours. So,
Very
but
nice.
it continues. We have a children's arts and crafts fair and farmers market at the Moraville Town Hall. And I did verify this before coming on the air today. It is still happening on July 11th. Starts at 10, goes to 2. A back-to-school bash at the Moraville Town Hall on July 18th, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. And both of these events are at the Moraville Town Hall. If you need more information, you can call Mayor Beryl Holmes' office at 318-985-2338, and they can answer your questions. Also, at the Moraville Fire Department, which had been used as a distribution center, but I did verify that this will take place. In fact, when I talked to Scott Lemoyne, he says there's so much interest in this event, that it's wonderful, and he says it will go on, and that's a black pot cook-off and community event. Moraville Fire Department, July 25th. Begins at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you can call Scott at 318-500-9049. Over at Paragon Casino Resort, same day, the Alligator Feeding Show, always that last Saturday at 4 p.m., July 25th, and that night, Chase and Ovation, a salute to Prince. At Paragon Casino Resort's Maury Center, begins at 8 o'clock in the evening. Ticket information, ParagonCasinoResort.com. So plenty going on in Avoyelles. Keep praying for us. We need everyone's prayers.
Absolutely. TravelOfOils.com is the location online to find all this kind of information and more. On Facebook, Travel of Oil. Search for that. And of course, 318-964-2025. Who answers that phone?
No, any of us that are in the office.
Whoever's closest.
We still, it's not automated. We answer that phone hopefully about the second ring. If it rings 3 times, it's because we're on another line.
That's the answer I was looking for.
Exactly. So myself or Merle or Mary are always answering.
So y'all really do use AI over there. It's just Avoyelles information, not intelligence.
Avoyelles information, exactly. Yeah. So,
Wilbur Carmouche, thank you so much for stopping in and keeping us updated on what's happening in Avoyelles. Our prayers continue with you.
Our pleasure.
Thank you. Back with more after this.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk Line at 442-8255.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend only at the LaPorte Earls Coliseum. Browse over 40 hot tubs, cold therapy tubs, swim spas, and saunas from major brands at up to 50% off this weekend at the LaPorte Earls Coliseum. Visit spashow.com or call 1-800-SPA-SALE.
Attention Ram owners. Complete Recall 67A. Get $500 and a chance to win a getaway to Miami for 2 to see the final race of the season. Plus, meet Brendan Butterbean Queen. Learn more and schedule at CumminsRecall.com.
Craig's Cleaners is now looking for some good employees. In particular, Craig's is looking for people with cashier experience and who have a valid driver's license. It's a pretty sweet job, too. Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. with no weekends. That's right. Here's your chance for every weekend off. So if you're interested in working for Craig's Cleaners, please apply in person at Craig's main location at 1746 Elliott Street, Alexandria.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46, and I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I spent years living in fear of calcium oxalate crystal stones, always afraid of when the next one would hit. Now I just take Kidney Cop.
Battling calcium oxalate stones? It's time to try Kidney Cop, a doctor-recommended kidney supplement that has been shown in laboratory tests to reduce the growth rate of calcium oxalate crystals by 99%. Get Kidney Cop today at Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCop.com.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
Welcome back to Talkback, where we've enjoyed the visit with Wilbert Carmouche of travelofwalls.com. What a good feller he is, always updating us on things happening down in the parish. And got some great things coming up in the spring. We'll be connecting with him more as we get closer to that. But the fall events are also pretty exciting. So good stuff happening around there. A couple of national news stories that we haven't talked about yet this morning, but are catching the news. One is the Democratic candidate up in Maine who looks like he's having some trouble. The fellow that did receive the Democratic nominations is being accused of rape. Graham Plattner is being accused of drunkenly forcing a girlfriend to have sex after she told him to stop, according to a political report. And that is actually leading to speculation that he may bow out. A lot of prominent Democrats are pulling their support of him. The Democratic Party has until July 13th in Maine to replace him with another candidate. Otherwise, they're forced to stay with the same candidate. So the question becomes, what does Plattner do? And a lot of folks are saying this is not surprising because there have been allegations, similar allegations against him in the past that were all shot down. This particular lady who alleges this happens to be a Democratic socialist herself and said that she likes his politics. She just doesn't like his rape. So there's a story brewing up in Maine. And then there's another, and that's what the Democrats look as a possible flip if they can get Susan Collins defeated up in Maine. Then you have the big story out of Kentucky, Stephen. I don't know if you followed this. Mitch McConnell fell and had a heart attack back in June 13th, 14th, somewhere in there. He remains in the hospital, and some are saying he may be brain dead. That's a huge story that's not being covered or talked about. And the question then becomes, how do you handle that? Kentucky actually has a Senate race right now. You know, the senators serve 6-year terms, and they're staggered. It would almost be unprecedented to have a special election the same year as a regular election. And others are saying, you know, they
can't appoint somebody.
I don't know how that works. I really don't know. I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. But with that much time left, there would still have to be a special election. And let me back up. I'm not an erudite on those rules. I know in the state of Louisiana, if seat is vacated with more than 18 months left in the term, there has to be a special election. With less than 18 months, whoever's appointed can fill out that term. So how does that work on national politics? If one of our listeners knows, 318-442-8255, you can educate us with a phone call to the BOM talk line. And we'd love to know, you know, again, our best wishes for Mitch McConnell. No one wishes ill to him. But there's also a really strange story. His wife, who I don't remember how long they've been married, but she is of Chinese descendant. She apparently flew to China 3 days after his incident to meet with her family. And her family has a big shipping company over there, over in China. Wealthy Elaine Chao, who I believe she was a transportation secretary at one time under a previous administration. But it's really odd that she would fly to China 3 days after his big health emergency, and people are like scratching their heads. I wouldn't have known about that until I started digging into it, but I heard about it first on the Wright report, the Dean Wright report, former CIA operative. And so he shared that story and information there. So it's just got people scratching their heads. And of course, the Republican majority in the Senate is very narrow. If you don't have those votes, McConnell was a huge supporter of the filibuster. One of the reasons that they haven't turned it over, if he's not there, will the filibuster be overturned? Big news happening in Washington. Locally, got some big news coming up. This Sunday is the National Baseball League, National League, Major League Baseball, MLB. I'll get it right eventually. The draft he's rolling in his bed right now. He's like, oh my God, Nathan, I cannot believe you stumbled that one. But the draft is coming up Sunday, and a local player from Tioga High School who went on to play at University of Tennessee in Martin, probably going to be drafted Sunday. So we're hoping to have him on the show later this week. We'll talk to him later and let you know his prospects. Don't forget, coming up in the next hour, Matt Ritche is going to bring the Central Louisiana Economic Update, and we look forward to hearing that from him as well. What do you think? Should we give Matt some mic time? I guess since he's in the studio, we really should.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting. AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3 HD3, Alexandria. It's 8 o'clock.
Talk in Turkey. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Trump is in Ankara for a two-day NATO summit. The alliance announces billions of dollars in multinational arms deals as the president keeps up the pressure for Europe to spend more on its own defense. And he's met with Turkey's President Erdogan today.
Right from the beginning, good chemistry. We've had a very special relationship. Turkey has become, under the president, a very powerful country militarily.
There's some downtime next and a social dinner with the other world leaders. A hearing resumes in 2 hours in Utah about whether there's enough evidence to try Tyler Robinson for the conservative activist Charlie Kirk's murder.
Former State Bureau of Investigations agent David Hull testified that as they looked into the murder of Charlie Kirk last September, they were reviewing footage of what they believed to be the suspect's vehicle when they found out someone was turning themselves in.
And did you, at that point in time, did you receive a name from Washington County?
Yes, we did.
And what was that name?
Tyler Robinson.
Earlier in the day, Officer Chris Bagley testified he suspected the shooting came from the top of a building on the Utah Valley University campus, and dispatch confirmed someone had been seen on the roof.
The individual stood up after the shooting and ran northeast on the top of the Losi building.
Kirk's widow, Erica, and his parents are attending the hearing this week. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Team USA's World Cup dreams are dashed with a 4-1 loss to Belgium in their round of 16 match in Seattle. Fox Sports commentator Tyler Terrence.
Every single player showed up and had their worst game of the tournament individually, and it looked like that collectively, and it was such a gut punch for what otherwise was a perfect tournament for the U.S.
2002 men's team was the last to make it this far before losing in the quarterfinals. Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner is told to withdraw from the race by Senate leaders in the state's Democratic Party. He's accused of rape by a woman he was dating off and on 5 years ago. He denies it and says he'll take time off from the campaign for now. America's listening. Fox News.
Hey, I'm not one to say I told you so, but do you remember last year when I told you that Pure Talk was hands down the best wireless company that I'd ever used? Well, some of you were skeptical, but Consumer Reports just asked 120,000 people to rate every wireless company in America, including the big boys. Well, guess which company was the only company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. No service contracts, no cancellation fees, just great U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network for a fraction of what you've been paying. I'm not going to say I told you so, but I will encourage you one more time to dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Paris appeals court has shortened a ban on French far-right political leader Marine Le Pen's ban on holding office. And now she can run for president next year, but she'd have to campaign from home, monitored with an ankle bracelet, serving out the rest of her sentence. Le Pen and other members of her national party were convicted last year of misusing European Parliament funds. Hamas offers to hand over authority in Gaza.
Hamas says it's dissolving the body that's governed Gaza for nearly 2 decades, with senior members resigning, though some technical and professional personnel would remain to run the Palestinian enclave's day-to-day affairs. Hamas describing this decision as evidence of its commitment to Gaza's reconstruction after years of war, but it did not say whether it plans to disarm or hand over security to an international force. It has offered to hand over control of the Strip to a U.S.-backed Palestinian committee, the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza. President Trump's Board of Peace, which oversees that committee, says it'll assess the impact of the move based on actions, not promises. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
4 states are in court seeking more than $1 trillion in penalties from Facebook and Instagram parent company Meta.
Meta Platform says California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey are seeking $1.4 trillion in penalties over claims that the company designed Facebook and Instagram to be addictive to children. The social media giant also says the states accuse Meta of withholding information from the public about the harms the apps pose to young users. An August trial is set in California over claims brought by the 4 states. Meta says the penalty the states are seeking is close to the company's market capitalization of around $1.5 trillion, and that the amount is unsupported by the evidence. 29 states have sued Meta in federal court, most alleging violations of the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. There are flash flood watches in New England, the Mid-Atlantic, and parts of the Appalachians today. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
Louisiana Radio Network News, I'm Michelle Southern. Public and charter students in grades 3 through 12 achieved the highest overall Mastery Plus rate on the LEAP test in history. Andrew Greenstein reports.
The Mastery Plus rate rose 2 points to 36%, the highest rate ever. State Superintendent Kate Brumley says the Math Mastery Plus rate increased across the board.
We've tried to increase the amount of time students are spending on foundational math skills, those skills that so many of us learned as elementary students.
And Brumley says students also made strong gains in social studies thanks to the new Freedom Framework standards.
That's a credit to the elevation of history and civics education in our state, better resourcing the schools, better training the teachers.
I'm Andrew Greenstein.
Hundreds of people gathered Monday to honor legendary Southern baseball coach Roger Cater. The service was held on Southern University's campus, where Cater spent more than 3 decades building one of the nation's premier HBCU baseball programs. Among those paying tribute were LSU coaching legend Skip Bertman. LRN. An anti-corruption watchdog group says Attorney General Liz Murrell's indictment is a black eye for New Orleans. New Orleans Metropolitan Crime Commission President and CEO Rafael Goyeneche believes Murrell did nothing wrong by warning city leaders about the consequences of violating state law.
The Attorney General enforces and applies the laws of the state of Louisiana. As a courtesy, she was urging the council and the mayor to stand down.
The Louisiana Supreme Court tossed the indictment because of procedural errors and a conflict of interest, but Goyeneche says, unfortunately, this saga is far from over. Shifting gears to the 2026 State Pickleball Championship, which will be held in Bossier City for the first time in the event's history. Emma Boone with Visit Shreveport Bossier says it'll be a huge boost for tourism when the tournament is held October 9th through 12th.
The tournament is going to be bringing in over 300 pickleball players and their supporters across neighboring states to compete in singles, doubles, and mixed doubles divisions.
LRN.
When buying a home or property, you have a choice for your real estate closing attorney. Fine Legal Services, LLC is a full-service title company offering residential and commercial real estate closings, title insurance, and more. Call your Alexandria, Louisiana attorneys, George Fine and Jeremy Cedars, at 318-767-2226 to learn more, or visit fine-lawyers.com. Let your realtor and lender know that you choose Fine Legal Services.
Well, our skies partly cloudy on this Tuesday, but we do have the possibility of some showers or thunderstorms really up until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then only a chance of some isolated showers after that. We'll see the afternoon high temps near 92 degrees. Now tonight, 30% chance of showers early in the evening, down to 75. Then for Wednesday, a slight chance of some showers, afternoon highs near 94. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Talkback. And we're excited to have in studio this morning Matt Ritche, who is always the man with the plan. He understands what's happening in Central Louisiana, and Central Louisiana Economic Update is here with Matt. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, Nathan. Good morning to you, Stephen. And
as he steps out,
so,
he's going to fix one of my errors over here. So,
well, so good to be here with both of you and all of our listeners out there. We've got, can't believe it's already July of 2026. It's this year is gone, half of it's gone. So, we got several properties and several deals to report. I also want to just go ahead and remind any of our listeners that if you have any questions about what's going on in the market, anything that you see happening, if I can't answer it, I'll get back with you. That's the next show. But yeah, give us a call. Any questions? Commercial, residential, property management. Anything going on real estate, please give us a call.
That's a better answer than Rod Knowles used to say, because he would say, if I don't know it, I'll make up something. Right?
and yes, he would.
I love Rod. I mean,
and he would. And I tell you, I've him and I have different styles, right? You know, and Rod could make a real simple story really good, and I've appreciated that about him over the years, and I've had feedback over the years about, well, Rod did this, Rod did that, and I said, look, and Rod did a great show. I think he did the show for either 18 or 19 years. That is a long time. I mean, we're on year 6 this year of doing it. I can't believe that's flown by so fast. I actually heard Moon Griffon yesterday talk about how he had done over 8,000 shows, and his goal, or maybe 8,500 shows, and he wanted to hit 10,000 shows, and it may take him I think he figured out it was another 6 years to make his 10,000 show mark. So anyway, I don't know how many shows we've done in 6 years. Rod did a lot of shows over 18 years and did a really good job on this segment of Talkback, and I'm just proud that I was able to step in and do that over the last 6 years, and hopefully be to do it for years to come, because I've really gotten to where I really enjoy the interaction out in the public, not only here on the radio twice a month, but when I'm out in the public, and a lot of there's a lot of people listening. And I also want to just make a comment. I wasn't going to mention my national treasures race, but I'm going to go ahead and the reason I'm even bringing it up is because I want to just thank again one more time we have such an awesome community. I can't tell you, whether it was in the airport, whether it was just at the grocery store, at restaurants, how many people that I had no idea was following this race.
Yeah.
That just it's folks that some I know well and some I don't know so well, or I just not close friends, but just just folks that I know in the community that were watching it, and I just want to thank them again for because all the outpour support, win, lose or draw, it was phenomenal. So I do, you hear all the. I wanted to. That needs to be a positive message this morning to those that you just never know who's watching, who's thinking about you, what they're and where they're at. So anyway, thank you.
Well, as an observer, it was always neat to me to see how many local people were commenting on it, because you would on the one hand you think, well, that's not really a local news story. It doesn't seem to have bearing. But your reputation in the community and the pride that people had, that, hey, man, our guy's going for this national office. We're behind you. It was really neat to see the people respond that way.
No, it was. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone.
So you processed all that.
I'm processed. It's processed. Lisa and I, she never likes me talk about where we're going,
right.
But she doesn't mind me talking about where we've been because we've already been there and gone, right? So
the house isn't empty.
So we had our 25th anniversary on June 23rd. So we got back from the campaign, came home for a few days, caught up, and we left and we went south in some blue and turquoise water for a whole week and just celebrated our 25th anniversary. And and post. And I'd already planned the trip before we knew what the election results were going to be. So win, lose, or draw, it was a post-campaign 25th anniversary trip, and we much needed. And now we're back. We're rested. We had a great 4th of July weekend. Hope you all did. I know we had such kind of Powell and Alexandria both had great 4th of July events, and now we're back to business.
So what dates were you out on the blue and turquoise seas?
23rd through the 1st.
Okay. So we were in Colombia, South America, and came back on the 26th. So that last week or so, we were up in Cartagena, which is on the Caribbean coast. Gorgeous waters.
Yeah.
And so I guess I could have just looked across the water and seen
Oh, look,
somewhere.
if you would have pinged me or, we probably weren't too far from each other. So.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you on 25 years. That's a great milestone in marriage.
Thanks. Yeah.
And in business and anything, right?
No, it is.
And so, y'all have some great shared experiences. And I'm sure in some ways your faith is stronger because you trust God and the outcome wasn't what you wanted, but you accept it as being His will and you move forward.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And Lisa was able to travel with me probably 80% of the time. So
that's great.
It was just a phenomenal experience, and so glad we had the opportunity. So let's talk about things going on here locally. I want to mention a deal that we almost did. I've had a property listed on Jackson Street for the former Morning, Noon, and Diet building. Does that ring a bell? It's down there towards Ash, right across from the courtyard.
Okay.
Used to be a restaurant. Westside Rehabilitation owns the building. They had a restaurant that they operated there for years and years. And then it's right there at the turnoff to go in when you go into Ash. You got Subway on the left.
Okay. Alla Street.
Yeah.
At the corner of Alla and Jackson. Okay.
And so years and years ago, the building used to be a Scoggins Auto Parts. And then most recently it was Morning, Noon, and Diet. And we've had it on the market for a few years. And that end of Jackson Street has really, with all the rooftops down there, it's really surprised me why that end of Jackson Street has struggled a little bit from a retail standpoint, but it has, because you do have so many rooftops down there. Most recently, about a block away from this location I'm talking about, where Johnny's Pizza was, that little strip center just sold for a little over $1 million about a month ago. There was in that store, when that was originally developed, you had Johnny's Pizza, you had a CC's Coffee in there.
Coffee,
on the end cap. Most recently, it was a little burger place, and now you're about to have I think a Vietnamese market in there. In that building is what you're gonna. That's who the next user is going to be in that little strip center.
So the Simla Grill and Chill is leaving.
I don't know if they're leaving. I do know that the market will be backfilling in that space. I mean, it's somewhere in that building.
Okay.
It may, and I'm not sure what the future of Johnny's is. I just know that the owners of that market bought the building, and I know they're going to put a store in there. I just don't know what the dynamics of or how much space they're going to take.
I love these nationalized, specialized markets. You get such neat
and we're about to see those, and I'm going to tell you about another one coming. But just to go ahead and finish that Jackson Street story, so we had Juno's Juno's Cajun Meats. We had that under contract with them, and we thought it was going to be a great spot for them because with all the rooftop, all the things that they sell and do, and then they had been negotiating with Town and Country out off Lake Charles Highway,
right?
And that negotiation didn't go, had taken a turn, so he started looking for the alternatives. We actually negotiated a good deal for both parties on the Morning, Noon, and Diet building, and we thought that that deal was almost it was almost across the finish line, and then the Town and Country, which we were not part of the Town and Country deal, we were only representing the owners of the Morning, Noon, and Diet building, and the other deal, the Town and Country deal, got resurrected, and he ended up buying the former Town and Country meat market on Lake Charles Highway is now Juno's Cajun Meats. I don't know if you reported on that. Oh, you have? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Not
so-
on here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on his Facebook page.
Okay. Okay. Good. Well, so and that's Damon Juneau. He's got 3 locations. Other locations, I believe. I think he's in Irwinville. He's in Marshall, Mansfield area.
Oh, it's been packed there too. The town and country.
Oh, I
since
bet.
Then, yeah.
I bet. I heard that as well. I knew he would do well here, and then from what he tells me, he's looking for other markets to get into. So just a niche market. And speaking of that type of market, another one of our clients, David Moses, in my office represented, is actually about to open up a Bernard Specialty Meats just down the street from here on Texas Avenue, where the former used to be Atwood's Bakery used to be, right across from Wildwood Pizza. And I know that he had wanted to plan on opening up July 1 or first of the month, but it looks like he's doing great job on the inside and remodel. So
I heard it's immaculate.
That'll be another specialty meat market here in town. I think that's actually a really good location because you're going to catch all the folks that may not be going out, on a daily basis, going home to Lake Charles Highway. Folks that work and live here in the central business district of Alexandria, going back across the river or going, downtown or whatnot. So I think that's going to be 2 good added businesses for our market. So congratulations to both.
Juneau's has a huge reputation, and we made a trip down there just to check them out one time. And so it'd be nice to see them. We have some really good folks in town doing that kind of stuff, but the pie is pretty big, especially as more people understand what's available in these specialty meats places. So,
well, and it's food to our culture, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's what they're serving. They're serving a demand that other folks who are visiting here may not even realize that's available. So.
Well, that morning, noon, and diet story is the reason why you don't talk about something until the ink is dry on the signature line.
That's exactly right.
Because you were really close.
We were really close, and I was hoping for not only the seller, the buyer, but for the seller, because that building, that's a good building, by the way. Anybody looking who needs 4,000 to 5,000 square feet of space on Jackson Street. It's got a separate little brick former residential turned into an office building with it, listed for $499,000. It's got a concrete parking lot, fabulous. You could go in, especially somebody in the catering or restaurant business. I thought one of the ethnic food concepts would go in there at some point, but anyway, anybody out there needing something, you couldn't replicate it by any shape, form, or fashion for that kind of money. So I'll go ahead and put a shameless plug in there for that property. We do have it listed. It's available for sale, and you could be the next one to have a success story in that building. So we do have deals to talk about, and we will talk about those when we come back.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at KSYL Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
Progressive presents Heroes That Keep Truckers Going. Today's hero, all the furry four-legged co-pilots out there. Pets like Axel, Bandit, and Smokey, who may not understand humans but do listen to you rant about young people today for hours. Thanks, heroes. Know what else keeps safe truckers going? Saving an average of $6,181 when they elect to share their ELD data with us. Get a quote at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. 2025 National Average Safe Driver Enrollment Discount Savings for new Progressive customers. Excludes mandatory program participants. Not available in all states. Driving data could increase or decrease premiums at renewal.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Tired of noisy neighbors? Want to keep pets in and problems out? Sounds like you need a Promo fence. At Promo Fencing and Lawn Care, our fences don't just work, they wow. From classic cedar and pine privacy fences to durable chain link, sleek metal, and aluminum, even decorative fencing. We've got something for every home, yard, or business, big or small, residential or commercial, all with free estimates, expert installs, and small town customer care. Promo Fencing and Lawn Care, Fences that feel like home.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BON Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BON Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Talkback. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
Welcome back to Talkback. We've got Matt Ritche in the studio this morning talking about all things Central Louisiana economics. And you can talk to him, 318-442-8255, the BOM talk line. This is must listen to radio by a lot of people who really look forward to hearing Matt's take on things, what's coming up in Central Louisiana, upcoming businesses that are coming and opportunities for businesses. I'll tell you, my wife loves listening to the show all the time. So I know she's listening right now. And everybody else who's listening, give Matt a call because he'll take your questions. And if he doesn't know the answer, he'll research it and bring it to you in that show. Sorry, I had to go down in there.
No, I appreciate that. And that is a fact. I will definitely get back with you and look, call me at the office too, 318-449-8919. Nathan, I get a lot of calls after the show, folks saying, hey, I heard about this, heard about that. And so please feel free, any listener out there, that if you don't want to call in, if you just want to call and ask, feel free to do that anytime, 318-449-8919. Let's talk about the largest transaction of the last 2 weeks. I'm reporting on June 16th through June 30th of 2026. And the largest mortgage, a mortgage is a deal, right? But it ties to a sale as well. Scott Equipment Properties, LLC, mortgages to Pinnacle Bank, $51.8 million. Scott, and that's a, if you've been out 28 West recently, well, actually, I mean, it's been under construction for at least a year, right across from Johnny Downs. Scott Equipment built a new facility. Really very, very nice looking property. But the real estate just sold, and I tie this mortgage in with that because I'm assuming, I'm just making an assumption, the real estate transfer was for $4.6 million. And so, and I went back and researched that. I was like, well, I wonder what they paid for the land, because it seems like I saw the land sale. But these folks, this CB Interest LLC out of Shreveport, they bought the land 20 years ago. So they bought, and it seemed like they bought and held on to it in anticipation of doing this, 20 years later. But they sold it to Scott Equipment Properties out of Monroe. It's about a little over 9-acre tract for $4.6 million. And that's probably, and I want to say that building out there is about a 20,000 square foot building that they built. Very good looking place. They actually have an entrance coming in off of Highway 28 West, and then you can exit off of McKithen Drive, because they're not on the hard corner, but they got it wrapped around to where they can exit and bring all that big equipment, heavy trucks in and out of there. But so my suspicion is the $51.8 million is a floor plan. It's so it's how they're financing all the big equipment and that kind of thing. But the real estate was about just under 10% of that. So $4.6 million sale, $51 million mortgage.
That's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, $40 million worth of heavy equipment, which may not go as far as you.
Well, I think the average person, myself included, when I hear about the cost and the price tag on these big dozers and these big track hoes and all this big heavy equipment, I mean, it's easily approaching 7 figures.
Exactly.
So if you got 30, 40 pieces of equipment out there, depending on what size, that could eat up real quick. So and if that's another thing that most people who aren't in the business, whether it's equipment or whether it's cars or whether it's boats, whether it's anything like that, a lot, unless you just very, very strong, have been in business for a while and not have to floor plan, not have to borrow any money, that's interest sitting out there. It's like it's kind of like me buying a building, and I buy a building on speculation. I'm buying that building, and if I'm going to the bank and I'm borrowing money, I'm paying I'm paying interest and principal every month. And a lot of times these floor plans just require interest only, but there's carrying costs that have to do. So the quicker you sell these things, you get that off your books. But obviously the carry and the interest eats into any of your potential profit. So just something food for thought if folks aren't thinking about that.
All right. We had a call on the line, but we dropped off 318-442-8255. Matt welcomes your calls here on the Economic Update with Matt Ritchie, and he'll be happy to answer. So please call back, caller. Sorry we didn't get to you. We were working to get to you. So we're coming up on the bottom of the hour break. We got about a minute and a half. I wanted to go back, to businesses like that. I don't know how many times people realize that whether it's a new car lot or a new equipment place, a lot of that stuff sitting on that lot is not paid for. It's money was borrowed to put it there.
Right.
So, huge investment.
Absolutely. A lot of risk. And that's why I just appreciate all of our business owners, all of our folks. It's easy for people who aren't doing that and who aren't in the business every day to just think that, everybody's making all this money and they own all this, whether it be cars or boats. And hopefully the goal is that they are profitable.
You want them to.
There's no way you can stay in business if you can't. But just the dynamics of how and the economics of most of those transactions are probably less than what most people think.
The caller is back on the line, but I've only got about 10 seconds before this next break fires off. So caller, please stay on the line. We'll come back to you immediately after this bottom of the hour news. I believe it's a Bloomberg report, and we'll come back with more with Matt Ritchie and the Economic Update right after this.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Worries about tech spoiling the mood on Wall Street a bit after that record closing high for the Dow yesterday. Samsung shares plunging dramatically in South Korea after the chipmaker posted quarterly results. SpaceX may be sucking some of the oxygen out of the room as it gets included in the NASDAQ 100 starting this morning. That could trigger some volatility. Beer makers fizzling along with the hope of Mexican and Brazilian World Cup fans. Morgan Stanley says Anheuser-Busch, Heineken, and others could see a sales slump in Latin America due to the team's early exits. Jet fuel prices are down 40% from their peak in April, but analysts tell the Wall Street Journal fares aren't likely to follow because travelers keep paying up. And top honeymoon destinations. Coming family playgrounds, Bora Bora, Santorini, the Maldives, places like that now flooded with toddlers, teens, and grandparents as romantic resorts with kissing couples reimagine themselves as family destinations full of things like full kitchens and Easter egg hunts instead. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
In Central Louisiana, when you're talking great food, you're talking Southern Creations Country Lunch Buffet. At the base of the Jackson Street Bridge in Pineville, this Best of the Best award-winning lunch buffet is remarkable, featuring their signature fried chicken every day, an awesome variety of menu choices, and homemade desserts, including the now famous white chocolate bread pudding. No one does lunch better. Come have lunch with a friend or a group at Southern Creations. Daily menus posted on Facebook.
The Greenhouse presents a cat owner's thank you note. To my dear friend, my partner in crime, thank you for the way you warm my lap. Thank you for your purr and the way it says pet me. Thank you for that look. You know the one. But most of all, thank you for adopting me, for accepting me as I am, and for being part of my family. I will always love you. Signed, your human. The Greenhouse.
Well, our skies partly cloudy on this Tuesday, but we do have the possibility of some showers and thunderstorms really up until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then only a chance of some isolated showers after that. We'll see the afternoon high temps near 92 degrees. Now tonight, 30% chance of showers early in the evening, down to 75. Then for Wednesday, a slight chance of some showers, afternoon highs near 94. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. Now back to Talkback.
Welcome back to Talkback, and as promised, straight to the phone line we go. Good morning. You're on Talkback with Matt Ritchie.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning,
sir.
I got a question. I want to talk about two restaurants. What is it, Lagaro, the Mexican restaurant that no one seems to want, ever going to open? And any news on the old China Queen business?
Well, two good questions. I think, Nogal, the one that's over by right off Edgewood and 28, right behind Chuck's Ace Hardware, they've got it looking really good over there. I was not involved in that transaction whatsoever, so I really don't know what the status of it is, other than the fact that I think it's the same group that's out in DeVille on the corner of Highway 115 and 1207. And they had put out a good product, so I'm anxious for them to open. I think we need another good spot right there. And then in your question about China Queen, I'm talking to a group right now. I've had several several restaurant operators reach out, and the space needs a real renovation. I mean, it hadn't been updated in 20 plus years, and it needs some updating. And so I've got some local concepts that you may, or any of our listeners may say, boy, I'd love to see that there. But they're not willing to go in and make the investment in doing what needs to be done in the space. They just want to go in and really just start opening. And I just don't think that's what's that space, what that center needs. And so we're actually talking with a group right now that's actually going to go in and do a head to toe, floor to ceiling, complete renovation on it, which it needs. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's going to be the best thing for the center. But we've had so much excitement about that center with Harbor Freight and TJ Maxx opening up, and I can tell you, I'm really hoping in the next 30 to 60 days we can talk about some other concepts that I know that are coming out to that area, and I'm super excited about it because it's been a fantastic transformation. Mm-hmm. But thank you for calling about that. Do you have anybody for China Queen?
No, I do not. But my observation was the only thing that kept the place in business for so long was the location. Right.
Yeah.
And sadly, it was at one time was a great restaurant, but I hadn't ate there in that 12 years. So
yeah, I hear you, but I agree with you. The restaurant, if it were located somewhere else, it may not have done as well. But I appreciate you saying that, and thank you for calling.
Now, one thing that might go, but it's too small for that one. But I wouldn't mind seeing a Panda Express on the Pineville side of the river.
Well, I've talked to those folks, and I'm with you. I think it would do well.
All right. Hey, maybe you could put one in that new developed strip center there on 107 and Highland Drive.
That would we would love to see that. I don't know the traffic counts what we need there for Panda, but it would be. I think once that development happens on 107, I really think that you're going to see some nice businesses there because they're going to appreciate the landscape, the architecture, and they're going to do well. That's going to be an exciting project.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. Let's stay on the phone line. Go to the next line. Good morning, caller. You're on Talkback with Matt Ritchie.
Yeah, I have two questions. First, on Versailles, what is that development that's going along next to the diversion canal?
That is that's going to be another nursing home project. The family that owns the Annie Mae Matthews right there on the corner of Jackson and Versailles. My understanding is they're going to basically be replacing that property, building a new nursing home. And if I'm all off on that, I do know it's a nursing home. There's no doubt about that. And I sit on the STAR committee for the Rapids Area Planning Commission, and they came through probably 2 years ago, if not maybe longer, with that, showing us the plan and showing us what they're going to do for there. So we knew that was coming, but it's good to see that they're moving dirt and actually moving forward with it, because that's obviously good for local contractors and construction folks.
Well, what do you think is going to happen to Annie Mae Matthews? That place is really deteriorated.
Well, and I think that's why they're building a new facility to meet that demand that's there, and to that's a incredible corner there. So do I see it turning into maybe dirt and then turning into something new? Possibly. I have not talked to the ownership of that property, so I can't tell you one way or the other, but I can tell you that's a great corner on the corner of Jackson and Versailles, and there's several future users that would most likely love to go there if that was ever to be torn down and turned into a vacant lot.
Well, okay, when you're going down Versailles, you can turn off by the Why Not Stop and go around by Walmart. And I noticed that I guess there's at least one unit, maybe a couple of units there that you either have rented or leased or whatever, or trying to. Mm-hmm. My question is, when you go down that road and you make the corner and you go past Walmart, you come to 28.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty, what are they going to do for traffic control there if you start getting a lot more traffic going through there?
That's I'm certainly no traffic expert, but I can tell you, I mean, that's, retailers love all that traffic. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of it's a double-edged sword that, locals who are driving it, all the congestion and the wait times and that kind of thing get frustrating. But I can tell you, the retailers, if as long as that traffic's there and you're going to continue to see things, retail users pop up out there. I don't drive that corridor enough to have experienced long wait times. Have you? Do you go through there a lot? Have you experienced that?
Yeah, if you're trying to turn left on the 28, heaven help you.
Is it because is the arrow not? Does it not give you enough time to get many cars out, or is it what seems to be the issue?
If somebody's sitting on his cell phone, maybe two cars can get through on the arrow.
Oh, I got you.
If you're lucky, four can get through with one going on the yellow light.
Yeah, that there probably needs to be some adjustment to that, because especially if they're backing up, that certainly needs to happen. But you know what? Like we've seen things happen based off calls off this show.
Sure
so maybe someone out there is listening and it just hadn't been paid attention to, and so hopefully the right people are listening and they can take a look at that.
And I'll tell you something: a phone call from a citizen to any governmental entity weighs more than a Facebook post. If you call DOTD Section 8, they're on South MacArthur Drive, just call them and say, hey, I've got a question. Can you guys look into this? I'm not going to say they're obligated by law to look into it, but they track those phone calls, and it may take a little while, but they are responsive. So I encourage you to call and express that concern.
Off Jackson, there's the Mardi Gras Plaza.
Yeah.
Right. What is the road right there that intersects?
Wimbledon?
Turning left off Wimbledon onto Jackson is pure misery. Because there's no arrow, and there's always people coming from the other direction.
It absolutely is. Now that's definitely a congestion point that causes some frustration, myself included, because I go through there a good bit.
All right, we've got to take a break. We had another caller on the line. He dropped off. Caller, call back 318-442-8255, the BOM talk line. Back with more with Matt Ritchie after this.
Taking part in the show is easy. Call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255.
Remember when eating corn right off the cob was one of your favorite summertime treats? Or how about taking a big bite out of a crisp, fresh apple? If it's been a while since you enjoyed these delightful activities, chances are your teeth are no longer up for the task. But now there's great news. The folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville are Cenla's dental implant experts. They're both highly trained and experienced in the procedure. Now with thousands of completely satisfied, delighted patients. They make dental implant surgery simple by using today's most current technologies. Along with in-office IV sedation administered by a highly skilled certified nurse anesthetist, you'll be in and out before you know it, without all the anxiety. Plus, at Today's Dental, their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Go back to crunching all your favorite foods. Give Today's Dental a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. That's 448-4540.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Social media is crowded with consumer travel experts. Some of them are even helpful. But then there are sites describing, say, heavily discounted first-class travel tickets. They may describe an incredible deal from North America to Europe, but don't tell you there's only a narrow 3-day window months from now for those seats, or that you'll fly Iceland Air that requires a plane change in Iceland. But here's some legit tips that you may find useful. From America's #1 travel radio show, this is your Arm World Travel Minute. I'm Rudy Maxa. If you're thinking about renting a home on a site like Vrbo for 3 weeks, consider staying a bit longer. You may find that a 28-day stay causes the price to drop sharply. There's an app called Flighty that, if installed on your computer or phone, posts award ticket options, if available, alongside each flight when you use Google Flights to search for fares. Number 3, if flight delays worry you, try to book the first flight of the day to your destination. Then if flight delays begin piling up, you'll avoid that headache. I know it can be tough waking up early, but it beats spending unneeded hours in an airport. More travel info at armworldtravel.com.
It's Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL.
Welcome back to Talkback, where the phone line is open, waiting for your call, 318-442-8255. By the way, Nogales is the name of that hopefully soon to open restaurant. I had heard, you said they were from the group in DeVille. I had heard they were connected to T.O. Javi here on the corner of Jackson and Texas.
Oh, is that right?
That's what I heard, but I don't know. The group in DeVille, they have an excellent product. So,
well, that's the name of the restaurant, isn't it?
In DeVille?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Nogales?
Uh-huh.
Maybe so. Maybe I forget.
That's the only reason
Okay.
That's the only reason I was tying the two together. I could be very,
Sure.
very off on that. But,
Well, that does make sense. Nogales means, if I remember right, it's like a black walnut tree or something like that. And there is a Nogales, Arizona, and Nogales, Mexico. They're called the Twin Cities. And so that's where the name got its popularity, got well known from. But it has, I agree with the caller, it's taken a while.
Yeah.
You know, they've had the facade up for quite some time.
Right.
But at the same time, we've seen people take a while to turn out a good product. And I don't know if maybe there's a lease arrangement that you pay a certain amount during development and then your lease goes up when you open your doors. Is that a common practice?
Well, it's a lot of times the landlord, no one wants to pay rent while they're not operating.
Sure.
And so they may give them a certain amount of time, 3 or 4, 5, 6 months of and I'm air quoting free rent before the rent starts, while they do their repairs.
Could be.
So
a caller or a listener has asked about some dirt work next to Johnny's Pizza there on the corner of Versailles and Jackson Street. And it says there's dirt work and laying pipes. And they sent me a picture of that. Do you have any idea what that is?
So I was referencing that, there was that property just sold. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is across from Annie Mae Matthews, the other corner.
Yeah, okay. I think what they're talking about is the lot between Johnny's Pizza and Burger King.
Okay.
That lot was owned. Mike Shelton owned that lot actually, and I think he sold it recently. My understanding is there's going to be a car wash built there.
Okay. That's why you'd have big pipes.
Yeah, yeah. There's going to be a car wash there right in front of as a point of reference right in front of the neighborhood Walmart on Jackson Street, which makes sense.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of vehicles coming through there every day. And so it makes sense to have obviously you see car washes pop up and, how many people are washing their cars. And because those are not, once again, those are not inexpensive projects. That's, the land was probably between, $300,000 and $400,000. The equipment, concrete, all the pipes that you see on the ground right now, all that underground infrastructure, subsurface drainage, all the equipment that goes into the car wash, you're probably looking at another 1.5, 1.6 million, depending on how big it is.
Right.
And so wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. That's a $2 million investment to do a bunch of $5 and $7, $8 car washes.
Those new homes right there, those townhomes.
Yeah, that's J.D. Duran did those.
Oh, he did.
There.
Okay.
Yeah. He calls it River Ranch. I've had that question. Everyone has real popular River Ranch development down in Lafayette, and which was that was started back in the mid '90s.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember when I was at USL. I graduated USL in '97, but I can remember going down College Saloon and turning into just about first 50 feet of concrete going into where the River Ranch entrance is now at Camellia, and there was nothing there. It was all fields.
Mm-hmm.
And just watching that over the 30 years grow out. We talk about big, large mixed-use developments, how long they take out. River Ranch is a very successful development, and it's taken, and they're not 100% filled out yet. There's still a lot or two left in there 30 years later, and that's been a successful mixed-use development. But it's got, retail, it's got, restaurants, multifamily, high density, low density. It's got everything you can think of.
Which is probably what triggers some people's thinkings about Central.
That's exactly right. And but I absolutely see a beautiful long-term mixed-use development at the Central State Hospital, and I continue to work and try to figure out some of the best routes. But first of all, you got to get it on paper, and not only on paper, you've got to get it designed to where actually what you put on paper could actually work with the terrain, because Central State Hospital is a beautiful campus. Folks that have maybe ever just driven on Rainbow Drive, from Wynot to Main Street in Pineville, if you've never been through that campus, it's gorgeous. I'm not encouraging anybody to do that right now, because I know the city is trying to maintain and control who's in and out of there.
And I will tell you, there are a lot of cameras in there now.
Well, that's my understanding, which is good.
Yes, it is.
And I'm
active surveillance taking place, so don't go where you shouldn't go.
But it's a beautiful campus,
It really
and so and I can't wait to see it really develop out. I think there's some things kind of brewing undercurrent going on right now that I think could be really good catalyst for some development there. So look forward to hearing and seeing and hopefully being involved. I'd love to be involved with that. But I've got we're gonna take a break right now, but we're gonna talk about the largest residential transaction we came back.
Back with the final segment after this.
Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show, is now everywhere you are. Talkback is now streaming live on X at Sedla Update, plus Facebook and YouTube at KSYL.
Ready to upgrade your home's comfort? Southern Air Alexandria is making it easier than ever during America's 250th birthday celebration. Now through July 10th, trade in your old HVAC equipment and receive $250 off per ton when you purchase a deluxe HVAC system or above. Plus, save $250 on a whole home water filtration system. These are some of the biggest savings of the summer, but only available for a limited time. Call Southern Air Alexandria today, 318-558-9330.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Sinaloa's best at Riccato's Restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt in your mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Riccato's Restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talkback.
All right, welcome back to Talkback. It's the final segment before I turn it back over to Matt. Had a listener tell us that the Nogales and DeVille closed after COVID in 22, and Rio Rojo or Rojas opened up in the same location there at the Four Corners in 24. So there's still a Mexican restaurant there, different name, I'm assuming different owners, but the Nogales that was in DeVille did close in 22. Is this the same group? I don't know. Could be. But there's the listener drive-by report.
Well, that's why this show is
say.
so special. I certainly didn't know that for sure. So thank you for the listener clarifying that. I will tell you, Jennifer and Warren Bird, who Jennifer's been she actually is. She's the top selling producer in our market, and Central Louisiana market, works with us, and she's been like 5, we're going 6 years now. But her and her husband own that property. Okay. And so I know that they've always, and they did a really good job cleaning that property up, and getting it back in commerce, and actually going out and getting those tenants. I mean, a lot of times people think that people just come to you. A lot of times you, as a building owner and as a landlord, you got to go out and prospect. You got to go out and, hey, you need to come here. Yeah, you need to talk. Yeah, sometimes you have to talk the tenant into moving. Right. They don't realize that what they're missing, and so Jennifer and Warren did that, and they got that restaurant in there. So I'm happy to hear that. And I think I knew that. I think I just slept.
I can't remember if he says Rio Rojas. I thought
should
it was
be
Rio
Rojo.
Yeah,
right.
So in my Spanish
which
grammar,
is the same group that has the one on 28 West in the little center where Jack's was, and it's and there's a massage place. It's right next to the One Life Church,
Yeah, exactly.
right across from.
They got that new golf place coming behind there.
They do.
That's right.
I saw that yesterday.
Phone lines are lit up. I also saw one of my favorite places to eat, Yucatan, on 28 East in Pineville. Survey sticks all around it yesterday when I went to eat. So,
well, I can tell you, I've got them. Hopefully, I have time to report on that sale.
Okay, well, let's go. We got 3 calls live.
Right.
Let's go real quickly, caller. Good morning. You want to talk back with Matt Ritchie?
I just had one question. I was wondering, is there any chance of getting a Bazille's here or another steakhouse, maybe in Pineville, Longhorn or Saltgrass or something? And I'll shut up and listen.
All right.
Well, I appreciate that. Just a real quick answer. I can tell you that the mayor and the administration and myself, we are working. We're knocking on doors and calling folks trying to get a steakhouse in Pineville. I know he wants that, and I'm certainly trying to help him with that. And I can tell you, we're knocking on doors, and we're going to try to hopefully land somebody. Don't have anybody right now, but as that area grows, I think the market will it'll happen. I think it will happen. I appreciate you.
All right, caller. Thank you. Let's go to the next line. Caller, quickly. You're on the line with Matt Ritchie.
Yeah, man, I want to say thank you for getting the Harbor Freight in Pineville, because I live south of Valley and do most of my business there, but a couple of times in the last month I needed a part or something from them, and the website at Alexander said they were out, so Pineville had it, so I went to Pineville, and it's a nice store, so I want to thank you for getting that put in there.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. That was a long time coming, and but it turned out great. I think it turned out really transformed that that big vacant box into something that looks really nice now. So thank you for that.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, caller.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
One more call. Good morning. You're caller. You're on Matt. You're on the Economic Talkback on. Okay.
He
never mind. You were on Talkback, but I couldn't get the words out fast enough, so he hung up on me. All right. Sorry, caller. We got about 2 minutes left. 318-442-8255 if you want to call Matt back to be on Talk Line.
Well, real quick, while we only got a couple of minutes, largest residential transaction. Tommy Tucker, who was a longtime entrepreneur, businessman, and did a lot of great things, and a lot of was the driver behind Beaver Lake. Actually ended up owning it, and passed away a couple of years ago. Yeah. And his house was the family decided to sell it by auction, and Barbara Bonnet put it up for auction, and so it sold recently for $687,000. That's out off of Epaul Road. It was part of a 45-acre tract. So just I just want to mention that was the largest transaction that actually took place residentially in the last 2 weeks of June. So
I
just
subscribed to her newsletter and I saw that listing come up, and I'm like, okay, that's too rich for me. I can already tell just by looking at the pictures. Beautiful home.
Beautiful home. I thought just based off of what I'm seeing the price, you couldn't replicate that. I mean, so I know the family wanted to sell it, so just one of those situations where it worked out for all parties. And congratulations to.
By the way, my wife is correcting me. It's not Nogales. It's Nogal. Noga. There's no ES on the end of it. So it's a singular walnut tree, not a grove of walnut trees. Sorry about that. So thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you.
You asked about 200 Sandiford.
I did.
That's on the corner. What used to be my favorite burger spot in the entire world was Judy's Burgers. Judy McDonald had her Texaco there, which is no longer there. But just opposite that little street, Sandiford, and you mentioned Yucatan. Yucatan's in the way back on the backside of that lot, and that property recently. What happened is one of the owners bought the other owner out, and I'm assuming that's the surveys were for mortgage purposes and whatnot. So so that's what happened. Still don't know. We had that property marketed for a little while, and I think that the sole owner of it has some other plans for it. So that'll be coming soon, and we'll wait to see what happens there. And I enjoyed the show, both you guys and all of our listeners. Thanks to all the callers, and look forward to being back in 2 weeks.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting.